A perfect spring day in Goodyear, Arizona, and an even-keeled Guardians camp with homegrown prospects climbing through the ranks. Welcome in to 30 Clubs, 30 Camps. Alongside Jake Peavy, I'm Siera Santos, and the name of the game around Guardians Spring Training Camp is consistency. This is a young group, but they're experienced, and Jake, they've essentially grown up together.
And that matters. These guys know each other and they're buddies. You can feel that. The guys have said that in talking to them. This is the same team that went on that miraculous run to run down the Central title. They believe nothing's going to phase them throughout the course of the season. Cleveland plays small ball for the most part with a superstar and Jose Ramirez right in the middle of it all, making it go.
Jose Ramirez signed that 7-year, $175 million extension in late January, keeping the top third baseman in the game in Cleveland through 2032. Ramirez will likely finish his career as the Guardians' all-time leader in most major offensive categories. Jose, first of all, congratulations, felicidades con el nuevo contrato. Congratulations on the new contract. How does it feel to be calling Cleveland home for the next long tenure?
¿Qué se siente llamar a tu casa por los próximos 7 años?
Bueno, no, gracias por...
Appreciate the congratulations. For me, it's such a joy to be able to call Cleveland my forever home and be able to somehow finish my career there, and I'm really happy that we're able to accomplish that.
Talk to me about what you value. We watched you play the game. What as a baseball player, what's important to you about the way you go about your business?
Bueno, es que mi estilo de juego yo trato de...
I think it's the way to try to find to help the team no matter what the situation. I feel I have the tools to impact the game in many aspects. Sometimes if it's like stealing a base or hitting a homer, but just having that desire that find the ways how to win the game.
Tenemos que hablar de tu correa nueva. We have to talk about your new belt. Tell me about it. Descríbela.
Bueno, no, esa correa yo la...
It's like a sense of pride, just trying to choose different pictures of myself, trying to highlight a little bit of my game and represent myself on the belt.
I want to get baseball-y with you. A lot of young kids all the way up to pros. If you're a baseball player, you're going to struggle. There's going to be times where you're not hitting the way you want to. What does Jose Ramirez do when he's struggling? Is it a drill? Is it T-work? How do you, young kids struggling, he wants to know what Jose Ramirez does to break out?
Bueno, lo primero es que yo no...
It's just really important to stick to your routines. Stay throughout the whole year. Never leave your beginnings where you start, because you're going to struggle. There are some times it's going to get difficult, so you always be consistent with your routines. And remember that part of the struggle is going to be there, and that alongside with your mindset, being positive and liking the game, that's going to allow you to succeed the moment you less expect it.
My favorite thing about you, superstar player, but you're a complete player. You run the bases, you play defense. Talk to the younger generation about, we all want to hit. I got little kid, Daddy, I want to be the batter. I want to be the batter. You have to be a complete baseball player. What makes you so good is you're complete. Just speak to that.
Sí, cuando tú quieres ganar...
The focus is like wanting to win. And when you want to win, you realize that it's not only hitting. You have to play good defense. You have to run the bases. You have to figure out all the things that help you be a winner and win in the field. And so for me, it's important to have those tools and develop them. I've been blessed by God to have all these tools in part of my game, but it's also how much I've tried to learn and put in practice in the game. So it's just focusing that it's not only hitting, it's all these different things that make you a complete player that allow you to win more games.
Jose, muchísimas gracias.
Gracias a ustedes.
Will pitching once again be enough to carry the Guardians to a third straight AL Central crown? Cleveland utilized a 6-man rotation down the stretch to overcome a 15.5-game deficit and overtake the Tigers to win the division last season. Here's Jake with one of those starters, Tanner Bibee.
All right, I'm here with one of the leaders of that rotation, Tanner Bibee. Tanner, first off, congratulations on a great start to a career. Talk me through the learning process, getting to the big leagues. You're now 3 years in, taking huge steps every year. What's been the learning process, some of the biggest things you've taken away?
I feel like every year kind of brings a new challenge.
Right.
I feel like first year went relatively smooth. I think once I kind of settled in, second year was a little bumpier, and third year was a little more bumpier. So I feel like it's just figuring out how to keep getting better, how to keep adapting. I feel like that's the hardest thing in baseball. With a bunch of people coming in and saying it's not necessarily easy to get here, but it's harder to stay. So
it's hard to stay because that game plan gets out, and it's now a constant game of adjustments. Talk to me about the resolve of the Cleveland Guardians. Watching you guys come from a 15.5-game deficit last year. First off, what was it like to go on that run with the team? And now that we know how the finish was and you got it done, and what did it take to get that done?
I mean, it was really fun. But I feel like the entire year, everyone came to the field, and the goal was still the same, and our locker room kind of didn't change. So I feel like when we were going through all the rough stretches and stuff, I feel like no one changed too bad. The goals were still the same, and then even when we went on the stretch, the locker room was kind of still the same, just maybe a little more energy. So I feel like that was what kind of kept us in and kind of allowed us to open up without and kind of close in on the 15.5 games.
A lot of people don't like to talk about camaraderie, chemistry, togetherness. You guys visibly have it when you watch you guys play, from your leadership on down. Talk about your stable mates, and we talk about Gavin Williams and you and Logan Allen. You give it away to a bullpen. Pitching certainly a strength. Talk to me about the guys around you and how much you guys lean on each other.
I feel like all of us, a good majority of that pen and almost all the starters, we came up through this system and we kind of know each other really well. And I feel like from high AA, AAA, we've all, I play with Gavin at almost every single level and in the same draft class, so we've kind of done a lot of stuff together. We
know how wonderful your manager is, and Steven gets tons of praise, as he should. Your pitching coach, Carl Willis, doesn't get talked about as much because that's just the way it goes. He's been around the game for a long time. I want you to talk about your pitching coach, Carl, and just the team that you got around him and what he brings to the table.
I think with Carl, what he does so well is that obviously he is old school, but he also lets the new school come to him too. I feel like if he doesn't know the answer to a question, he's not going to let his ego get in the way, and he's not going to try to give you a fake answer. He's going to find an answer, he's going to hand you off to someone who does know the answer. I feel like that's the one thing with him where that's why he's able to be so successful for such a long time, because one, he's a great person and he's a good coach, and because he's able to adapt and not let his ego get in the way of coaching.
I want to put you out there in the 8th inning after 100 or so pitches. So let's go to Detroit. You're in Detroit on the road, game's on the line, 1-2 count. I want to know the pitch that you want to throw in this situation. Yeah. It is your pitch. What pitch you throwing?
I feel like my cutter slider thing.
Cutter slider thing?
Hybrid, yeah.
How you hold it?
So, just like a little two-seam, like that.
And then you're thinking at release.
I'm just throwing a fastball, throwing as
really?
hard as I can, yeah.
Okay, not offsetting the ball, not anything. Just no, that ball has a natural little cut.
I'm kind of working around with it, trying to get it to open up a little bit right now to go left, but as long as it's pretty hard and it goes left, that's all I care about.
That's all you want. Yeah. Something to stay in on the lefties.
Exactly.
Tanner, we wish you the best.
Thank you.
In 2026.
Appreciate it.
Pitching is a strong suit for Cleveland, but we want to know who was the most valuable Guardians pitcher. Gavin Williams, Tanner Bibee, Kate Smith, or someone else. Cleveland's lineup is anchored by the face of the franchise, Jose Ramirez, and instead of adding bats in free agency or trade, the door is open for youngsters to make their mark. Behind the plate, their catching core is stabilized with Bo Naylor and Austin Hedges. Here with Austin Hedges, good to see you, and you are caffeinated as usual, right?
That's right. Got to get my better buzz. It's out in Arizona now.
Okay, what are you drinking?
Best drink ever.
It's literally called the best drink ever.
As advertised.
But you are a caffeine kind of guy because you chug Red Bulls in the dugout to get the guys hyped up. You're also the ultimate vibes guy. Back-to-back division champs, you guys got to start working on it. What has this last 2 seasons been like?
2 completely different seasons. 2 years ago, we started off hot and I think we were in first place all year.
Yeah.
We just kind of rolled through the division, and then last year we got a little bit of we got a challenge, and it took the boys a little while to wake up, but best comeback in Major League history. Something I'm quite proud of.
It was fun to watch. Was it as fun to be in there as it was to watch?
It's unbelievable. It's as proud of a team accomplishment as I've ever felt in my life.
Speaking of accomplishments, you've got an accomplished guy coaching this squad. What have you learned from Stephen Vogt?
2-time manager of the year. I've played for Tito Francona and Bruce Bochy, and the fact that I can say that he's on that level as them is in 2 years is incredible, and he is. He's right there with those guys, and the way he can lead our team and be consistent on a daily basis. Like, you know exactly what you're going to get, and it's all we could ask of him.
This starting staff, it's nasty. What's it like working with those guys every day?
Makes my job easy. All of our catchers, we know, like, whatever we call, it's going to be something nasty. They're going to execute it. Our pitching development side, our coaches, we got Carl Willis. That guy, everybody knows when you come to Cleveland, there's a little magic pixie dust that he sprinkles on you. not everybody gets it, but if he sprinkles it on you, a little Cy Young here or there.
Yeah.
So I think we got a couple guys that might flirt with that Cy Young this year.
Serious question now. ABS, what's the experience been like?
It's just challenging. I mean, it's awesome. I think it's gonna be
You like
great
it?
for the game. I love it.
Okay.
I love it. I think to have a definite definition of a strike zone is going to be good for hitters, pitchers, catchers, everybody, just so we know what we're getting as opposed to just someone's opinion on a daily basis. So far it's been hard to learn, at least from a catching perspective. I've always thought everything's a strike.
Yeah.
So now I have to learn what is a strike and what's not. But it's been fun to just go out there and kind of just learn it. And then, I don't know, when you challenge one, it kind of gets the juices flowing a little bit.
Enjoy the coffee, Austin. Best drink ever. Best interview ever. Cleveland has won the division in both of manager Stephen Vogt's first 2 seasons. In 2024, they advanced to the ALCS, and last season, their torrid playoff push earned them a wild card spot. Stephen Kwan was there for both of those runs, and he caught up with Peavy.
All right, Stephen, we're seeing postseason boards here. Talk to me about that postseason run last year. First off, getting in, something special, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was crazy. I feel like you get in those kind of runs where it's like you show up to the ballpark and you're like, I think we're just going to win this game. And like you can't explain it, you can't put it into words, but everybody's rolling, you got the momentum. We just got into a really good run. Yeah, and it was fun right at the end.
You boys play both sides of the baseball as well. Now you win one-run games, you make catches and plays like you make in left field. Talk to the younger generation about you're not always going to be going well at the plate. You can always be going well defensively, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, defense should never slump. And that's the cool thing is you can have a really tough day at the plate, but you can save the game in that last inning as long as you're locked in. And I mean, on the flip side too, if you bring your at-bats with you in the outfield and you're moping, you're feeling sorry for yourself, and then that ball comes, like you could lose the game for your team too. So I mean, you have to be able to separate those kind of two things and like you said, play both sides of the ball.
When you are not right, you're in an 0 for 10. What's a drill? What's something you're doing in the cage to try to just simplify it and get yourself back on track?
I mean, this might sound kind of lame, but I mean, I think it really just starts with like some breath work. I mean, just kind of calming down and just being like, okay, like my swing doesn't suck. Like I'm not 0 for 10 because my elbow's lower. Like I'm 0 for 10 because maybe I'm thinking too much of the plate. Like I'm chasing now, or like they've had really good plans. Like it could be all these kind of things. But I think when you don't take that breath and you're like, oh my gosh, like I'm the worst player in the world. Like those thoughts can manifest, and then you go down this rabbit hole. Like you just gotta be like, okay, I just gotta chill. Like I'm cool, tough stretch, but like now we got this series coming up. Like let's lock in and let's get back to it.
Last question I got for you: back-to-back Central champions, trying to go for a three-peat. You're going to need Kafis and Valero and DeLauder. I know is in center field. You got a lot of young guys that you're going to lean on. It looks like they're going to be in this mix. What have you seen from them so far? Think they can do what you're asking them to do?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they did it at the stretch last year, and I mean, they came in this year really hungry. I think that's really cool. It's, you know, you don't get complacent when you've been in the league a couple of years, but like you see these guys just fighting and clawing and desperate, and you know, I think it kind of inspires us as well to kind of do the same thing. But I mean, they've been looking really good. I think the biggest thing is they're just super mature right now. Like you kind of have a lot of young guys, like they might not have a lot of feel, but I mean, they seem really polished. They seem really good. And we got no problems with them. So, I mean, they're going to have the product on the field, and they're going to do great, so I'm excited for it.
I love it. Steven, there's not a player in the big leagues I enjoy watching play more than you, buddy.
Appreciate that, Jake.
Best of luck in 26.
Yes, sir.
The Guardians have a loaded list of top prospects, and former #1 overall pick Travis Bazzana will likely make his debut in 2026. In fact, there's a chance we see all these guys at the major league level sometime this season. Time for the manager interview presented by Sage, and for that we welcome in Guardians skipper Stephen Vogt. And Stephen, I know some of the narrative was what you guys didn't do last season, but let's talk about what you're doing this season, and that is bringing in that core group that helped you get to the postseason in 2025.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're really excited. I mean, obviously every team's excited this time of year, right? Everybody's don't know. You never know what's going to happen, but for us, you know, we played our best baseball the last 5 weeks of the season, and we have all of those guys back. They all got in the weight room. They're all bigger. They're all a bit stronger. They're all faster. So we feel really good about where our group is going into 26.
I forgot to say, two-time manager of the year, Stephen Vogt. Congrats.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't make it look that easy. Show up on the job, win back-to-back divisions. We watched in the playoffs. You just talked about that same team is back. We watched DeLauder late in the season come on and get right in the mix. I know him, Kafis, Valero, you're talking about that same bunch is back, you're going to ask a lot of these young players to take a step in their process.
Yeah, and I think even long before I got to Cleveland, right, the history of young players coming up and making an impact is what makes this place special.
Right.
And for us, the names you mentioned, CJ Kafis came up, before the other two and really brought a lot of stability to our lineup, quality at bat after quality at bat, and good defense at first and right. And George Valera, you talk about a bat quality with him. Swing decisions are off the charts, and he hits the ball hard, and he's healthy. He was coming off injuries the last few years, and he's healthy, and we're really excited to see him in the outfield. And Chase DeLauder, a kid who makes his debut in an elimination playoff game, that takes a special kind of tenacity and competitiveness.
I want to transition into, we're seeing around the league, and I think it's a lot of the success that you've had made other teams not afraid to go out and give a guy a chance at being a manager. To all the first-year managers, you can't have any more success than you've had in this seat. You bench coaches now. What was your advice when Craig was leaving the door?
Be yourself.
There you go.
Be yourself. That was the advice I got was, don't change who you are, and ask questions. It's okay to not have the answers. I think, too many times people pretend to have an answer just so that they feel right. And it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to say, I don't know. And it's okay to ask people around you what they think too. And ultimately, you make the decision. It falls on you if it doesn't go right. You take all the ownership, but include the people around you and don't be afraid to say, I don't know.
Love it.
You said Stephen Kwan can play anywhere on the field. Looks like he's going to be playing in center?
We're taking a look at it. I think, obviously talked with Stephen when he got here, and he expressed, hey, if you need me to play center, I'll play center. And great, you're one of the best outfielders in the game. I'm sure you can play center field. So, we're mixing and matching. We have a lot of outfielders in camp and a lot of competition, and we want to see when we get to opening day, how does this puzzle come together? Where do we put all of our guys that we have the best defense on the field, as well as each individual playing in the spot that's going to bring them the most success? So we're playing around with it, but Kwani could play center field every day this spring, and on opening day he could go be a Gold Glove left fielder. We know that, so he's going to get a lot of reps in center.
I'll talk to you about the back end of your bullpen. You certainly took a blow last year. Smith, Gaddis, Browski, just all of them did an incredible job for you. Got to win those games late. Feel good about your chances?
Yeah,
getting those boys in there.
We have the deepest bullpen we've had in 3 years since I've been here. So
that's a big statement.
Cade Smith obviously has taken the ninth inning and run with it. Hunter Gaddis continues to be one of the best setup men, and with Eric Sabrowski, Tim Herron, we feel like we have two of the best left-handed relievers in baseball. And we go out and add Sean Armstrong coming off a career year. Just his veteran presence for these young guys. I mean, let's not forget the back end of this bullpen. None of them have 3 years of time. And it's crazy to think about that, and it feels like they've been here forever. But guy after guy that we give the ball to, and then we added Connor Brogdon, a guy that with some experience as well, and Colin Holderman, another good name.
We pop into Stephen Vogt's truck. What is playing automatically that pops up?
Usually some country, Morgan Wallen, Luke Combs.
Okay.
That kind of, every now and then some reggae. I'm a big Revolution fan.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Some Dirty Heads. It just depends on what kind of mood I'm in. Every now and then you'll hear a little Bullet for My Valentine if I need to yell and scream. And I also love some hip hop. So you never know. I like to just hit shuffle and see what comes up.
So you control the aux, right, in the clubhouse?
No. I got worn out the one time I did that early as a rookie, so I've never put my aux on the. I got worn out way too hard. So.
Who does?
What we do in camp is we, assign. I always get Bo Naylor the first day of spring, and then he has to pick another player, and they just hand it off. So all of our players play the aux out on the fields during spring training at some point.
Love it.
I love that. I love that so much, Stephen. Always a pleasure. Thanks so
great to see
much.
you.
Good. Thank you.
Cool for you.
We asked and you answered. Who's the most valuable Guardians pitcher? And this one was a close one. Gavin Williams with 34% of the vote. Cade Smith with 34.7%. Okay, Jake, we already had a pitching bold prediction from the fans, so let's switch it up a little bit. What you got?
I'm going Kyle Manzardo. They need offense. He's put on 10 to 15 pounds, looks great here in camp. He's going to hit 35-plus homers in that 4 spot behind Jose Ramirez, provide huge protection and power. 35-plus, Kyle.
Okay, I'm going to go with a manager, and everyone's talking about that Dodgers three-peat. I'm going Stephen Vogt
All right.
to win Manager of
Love
the
it.
Year for the third consecutive year in a row because he gets this team back into the postseason. And also, I believe in him because I found out we both do Orange Theory.
What's your sprint speed? Faster than his?
7 miles an hour. He runs like 11, 12 miles an hour. The man's got it.
Stephen Vogt, sneaky good athlete. This team should not sneak up on anybody. Back-to-back Central titles. They're wearing the belt. Somebody's got to take it from them.
Well, that is going to do it for us from 30 clubs, 30 camps at Guardians in Goodyear. For Jake Peavy, I'm Siera Santos.